that was the red flag when I was reading. It was like, another offer happened to come in
Right.
that happened to get the day before. Yeah, who wrote it?
Welcome to season 2 of the Real Estate Replay. This season, we're opening up the co-host chair to agents, lenders, and other professionals across the country. These handpicked co-hosts will help us dissect stories told by sellers and buyers and help point out the good, the bad, the unethical, or perhaps illegal things that they experienced. We'll learn what to look for, what to avoid, and how to not get screwed when selling or buying. The Real Estate Replay is sponsored by Selling Later. Selling Later is the only consumer advocacy platform in real estate that lets you search agent profiles to see how much they actually charge. Unlike the rest of the real estate industry, Selling Later cares about your data and refuses to sell it or share it with the industry. Learn more at sellinglater.com. Since you are helping me today, why don't you quickly tell everyone who you are, your experience, and other than how much you love bow ties, anything else you think might be necessary?
Sure. So my name is Marc Dumas. I am a realtor, a licensed realtor in Chicago, Illinois, and I am primarily work in Chicago proper in the actual city. So Chicago is comprised of 77 neighborhoods, and I probably work in about 25 to 30 of them.
Oh, wow.
I don't work in I tend not to work in the far south part of the city or the far north part of the city. That's just a logistics thing, not anything else.
Right.
I've lived all over Chicago. I'm born and raised here. I've lived as far north as our northern neighborhood, Rogers Park. I grew up on the south side of the city. Other than my time in the Army and my time on Capitol Hill, I've lived in Chicago my entire life.
Wait, what's this time on Capitol Hill? What were you doing there?
I was an intern for a senator.
Oh, a good senator or a?
Oh yeah, actually, Paul Simon, who laughingly also was known for wearing bow ties.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so it's kind of how it started. It's one of the reasons it started. He gives his interns a bow tie as
Okay.
so that's kind of how I got my first one. I still have it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, I do that. I've been in real estate for 10 years. I've been in sales in some way, shape, or form ever since I got out of the Army in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
And so and actually before that too, because my first sales job was working for my family. We owned a janitorial company.
Okay.
And I was my dad's first salesman. So I'd go out and try to convince companies, banks, places like that to let us do their janitorial work.
Right.
But I'm a big believer. Some of my core values when it comes to real estate is win the relationship, not the commission. I really believe that the goal here is to help people and be a teacher and an educator that happens to make money from selling real estate.
Right. Which I feel like any other attitude other than that, like, is really apparent. You know what I mean? Like, at least in my eyes, because we follow each other on TikTok.
Right.
And I see what people post sometime, and I'm like, I would never use you. I've never, like, it's real obvious that your interest is your money. And I get it's a job. I get it. But like, where does my interest fall in line? Does my interest fall below your money, or does it come above your money? Or is it like a neutral thing? So I think that's important, that mindset and that mentality. Okay. So I gave you a couple options.
Right.
This is the one you picked. Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. So the title of this was, "Is this an ethics violation?"
Right.
So this is an agent talking about another agent. They said they sent in an offer on a house among 18 other offers and won on Tuesday night. So this was 2 months ago. So who knows now? But anyway, so they sent in an offer. There were 18 other ones, and they were told they won. So the listing agent called the buyer's agent, said they won, said, "Congrats, looking forward to working with you." So this agent went and told her buyer, who's a single dad and has been looking for 4 months, placed 6 offers, lost them all. Him and his kids are happy, blah, blah, blah. So Wednesday at noon, I sent an email asking for the signed contract back. The listing agent replied in an email saying it shouldn't be long now, but 2 hours later, she called and said, "Sorry, buyers accepted a cash offer on Monday." So before they even submitted their offer, against her advice. then received our offer, which is better, and the seller is trying to back out from the cash offer. So she emailed 30 minutes later asking for a status. And her exact email reply was, give me 30 more minutes. So the listing agent's saying this. I'm talking to the cash buyer broker now to see if we can back out. 1 hour later, she said, cash buyer won't back out. And we lost. And I had to break the news to my buyer. But the buyer agent went to the MLS after all that happened and saw that the listing agent also represented the buy side. She never disclosed this fact. She even said she was talking to the cash buyer broker in the email. I feel like she used our offer to get a better cash offer and perhaps double dip. Now, this person wanted to know, does she have a case? And I think the bigger question is like, what happened here? So here we go.
So the first question you asked me was, is this an ethics violation? And it's a really gray line. It's a really fine line. Like,
right.
There's a lot of questions to be asked, and it depends on the state, right? So in Illinois, dual agency is allowed, but it has to be disclosed in the contract.
Okay.
You have to say that dual agency is happening. I would, if it was me, if I was the buyer broker, I would ask to see a copy of the contract. One of the things in Illinois that you can do is, so what I would have done, because I knew it was a multiple offer situation, is I would have put in an escalation clause, an escalation rider. And the reason I do it, and even if I'm only going to make it $1, right?
Right.
The reason I do it is then I get a chance to see the contract that won.
Right.
You can redact all the names, but I still get to see the contract when it happened. Like, are we getting screwed? Or did we just happen to lose? Like, what are the terms? Because people always think it's about price. It could be a myriad of things that cause you to lose a deal.
Right.
From the price to how long it's going to take you to get a mortgage and close, to the amount of credits you might want. I always laugh when people talk about cash versus mortgage. Only if someone shows up non-pre-approved does it matter, because the money still come in the same way. It just might come a week later, but you're still getting the same money. But those are the things I want to see in that contract. So in Illinois, at least in Chicagoland, we use Board 7.0 contract. It's 13 pages long, and it covers all these things. But it gives me an opportunity. Like I said, if I put an escalation addendum in there, in a multiple offer, and I always do, even if we're only going in and asking, I still want to, because I want to see who won, and I want you to show it to me.
Right.
I need to know what happened.
Right. So I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, and so that's what I would have done first.
Right.
Right. Like that was the first thing I would have done. The second thing I would have done is I probably would ask out loud. Right. I would have said, "Tell me what happened here," because you told me that we won. Then you said we're waiting for the contract, and then you were like, "Hold on, no contracts coming."
Right.
The third thing I would have done is I probably wouldn't have told my buyers that they won until I had a contract in my hands.
Right. That was one of my questions too. Like, does a verbal acceptance mean anything? No. Okay.
I had a situation a couple weeks ago where I was representing the seller. We got a buyer. Buyer came in and said they wanted to send us a contract. And I go, okay, great. Send me a contract. And so they were like, we're in agreement. I go, we're in agreement on all the terms. Send me a contract. The day that it took him to write that contract up, another offer came in that was stronger.
Right.
My seller's eyes, because I have an obligation under the code of ethics and just good business to present all offers until we close.
Right.
That's what people don't get. People think that it's all offers until we're under contract. No, it's all offers until we close.
Because you never know what will happen, right?
You never know what will happen. So I called the other broker and I said, because I tend to be nice this way. I was like, just so you know, I got another offer. If you want to, since we have made agreements verbally, but they're not binding until I got another offer.
Right.
But I'll send you the front page so you know I'm not lying to you, minus the price, because I can't tell you what the price is.
Shoot, I should have talked to you when I did one of these about an agent lying about their other offer and they got caught in it. Right. Why doesn't everybody do that? I just feel like that's so fair, right?
So people think the reason they don't do it is because, I don't want to say they're greedy, but I do want to say that everyone thinks everyone's out to get them. Everyone's trying to play gotcha. I subscribe to the idea that givers gain.
Right. I feel like that's such a better life lived to always be giving, even without any expectation of something in return. Like it always comes back to you anyways. Okay.
Right.
So I think, the one thing that people might not understand, and this whole story touches upon it, is dual agency,
Yes.
which there are some states where you can't do it. But for who doesn't understand, what is dual agency?
Sure. This simply means that you have been authorized traditionally by the seller first, to represent both sides of a transaction. It is a thing that I don't like. I very rarely do dual agency. And I say rarely is because when I do rental work, when I help represent a landlord,
Mhm.
there's really no negotiation involved. And so
Right.
I can represent both sides. Like if I find a tenant for him, I
Right.
represent both sides.
Okay.
But generally I don't do it because it's hard. You can't be honest and fair about it. You
Right.
can say you are, but you're giving. So in the perfect example, so you're doing dual agent. I'm representing a seller. You as a buyer show up with unrepresented and say, I want to buy a house. And I
Mhm.
go, sure. You have a realtor? No, I don't. Can you help me? Well, yeah, but I can only help you so far.
Right.
How much should I offer on the house? Well, whatever you think is fair.
Yeah. You work for the seller. So you're like, what?
I represent the seller. How much
Right.
can you give me comps? Yes, I can give you comparables to show you what the marketplace is bearing right now, but I can't tell you what to offer because I represent the seller as well.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
if the seller gets an offer, and I'm representing the buyer, should I take this offer? Do you think it's a good offer? Right?
Right. Right.
It's all these kinds of things. Instead, what I do whenever I have a listing and I do open houses for that listing, I purposely don't do the open house. I let someone else do the open house. So in case someone walks through the door and wants to buy the house, there you go. You can represent them.
Right.
The second thing I do is if that situation I talked about on 123 Maple Street happened, I would refer it out. I would literally say to you, you know what? I represent the seller here. I have a great network of other realtors and advocate for you. And that's the operative word there.
Right.
Be an advocate for you to make sure that you're getting the best deal for your money.
So here's what doesn't sit with me.
Okay.
How does a listing agent not know their client accepted an offer? Can that happen?
It's never happened to me. I would be really surprised, because at least in my experience, unless someone walked up to their house and offered, like said, here's an offer,
Right.
there's no way they could accept an offer because all the transactional work has to come through me. She would have written the contract. That was the red flag when I was reading. It was like, another offer happened to come in
Right.
that happened to get the day before. Yeah, who wrote it?
Right.
Who signed off on it? And,
Right.
right. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm like, I would never, like, you couldn't do that. The
Right.
only way it happened, like I said, is
Oh,
if someone walked up, saw, like, you had a for sale sign in your front yard, right? And they walked up and literally wrote a piece of paper out saying, I want to buy this house for this much money at this much time, and here's my stuff. Done.
right.
Even then, though, I would have said, as a seller, bring it to my, here's my
Right. Right.
realtor. Here's
Who
my
wrote?
realtor.
Yeah. Who wrote the contract? It was
Right.
likely the listing agent. That's it.
Right. Because
Like
the seller,
I kept reading it and I'm like, something's missing here. Like, how do you not know that there was a signed contract in 24 hours? Like, how do you not know that?
the seller's agent's going to get paid anyway
Right.
because I've signed a listing agreement with you. And in that listing agreement, at least here in Illinois, no matter how the people show up to the doorstep, I'm getting paid because I'm getting
Right.
paid for my time.
Okay. I'm glad because I was like, man, I hope we're on the same page about this because it just feels fishy to me, but
Totally selfish.
I couldn't quite put my finger on it. So in your opinion, do you think this cash offer came in after they said, yeah, we like your offer, and then they tried to counter it?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. I try not to speak ill of people that I don't know, especially, but
Right.
this feels like they went deal shopping. They literally
Yeah.
went out and they knew they had someone who was willing to buy the house, and they're like, okay, we got another offer. Can you come up on yours?
Right. Right.
Which is totally unethical. Like
Right.
I might tell someone I have another offer, and they'll say, well, is it strong? I'm like, I have another offer. It's worth our time.
Right.
That's usually my coach, especially if I know you as another agent. It's worth our time to look at it.
Right. 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 Hence, it's more money or better terms, something. One of the two.
It's better terms. Go sharpen your pencil.
Right. And so I know you touched on this and you explained what you would do. So if you're a buyer in this situation, or even if you're a buyer and you submitted an offer and they come back and say, we have other offers, what do you suggest people do? I know you mentioned how you would have handled it, but like in that situation,
if the seller comes back and says they have other offers, the best thing they can do then is sit down with that buyer agent and say, let's look at the comps. Let's look at all the things. Well, let's back up. The first thing you have to do is ask the question, how bad, like what's the number that you won't be angry if you lose the house?
Right.
Because there's a number that if you lost by $100, you'd be mad. If you lost by $1,000, you're like, ugh. If you lost by $5,000 or $20,000, you're like, fine, take it.
Yeah.
What's that number where you're like, it's not that I can find another house? The second thing I would do is like, I sit down with my buyer's broker and say, okay, they're offering $400,000. The house is listed for the house is selling for $400,000 and there's another offer. I've been approved for $425,000. Let's see if I can go in at $425,000 and ask for a seller credit. Or maybe it depends, and it's very market dependent, right? Some markets credits will kill a deal versus keep them alive.
Right.
Some markets, I personally would rather see a deal that's at asking price or better with a small credit in it. And then I'm going to have a conversation about what the credit's for. Right. And the credit might be for, I'm at the top of my budget. I want to buy down the rate, right? So I paid 1% to buy down the rate 0.75 of a point. Right. So over the course of the loan, I'm saving myself money. Right. And I'm not going to dive into how that works in mortgage because I'm not a mortgage broker.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a lot of ways that credit could be happening. I also think, and we're seeing a shift in the market, right? We're seeing a shift in how, in February, March, April, you put an offer in and you pray.
Yeah.
Now we're at a point because rates are at where they are, because inventory is finally starting to rise a little bit. We're back to a neutral, if not a buyer's market in some parts of the country.
Right.
And I think then it's important to have a good buyer's agent who knows their marketplace and knows the other realtors in their marketplace to have a conversation.
I talked with Jennifer Gebhardt. Jennifer, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. She's on TikTok too. We all mingle, right?
Right.
And we talked about as things change to a buyer's market, does your buyer's agent know how to work in a buyer's market, right? If they're used to offer over asking, throw it against the wall, like spaghetti, whatever sticks, you should probably make sure that your buyer's agent knows the other side of the market, right? To aggressively negotiate for you without killing the deal, right?
Right. I agree. So one of the things I say, and I am not ageist in the sense that I hate when people say you should get a realtor with a lot of experience versus someone that's brand new, because I'm like, you have to start somewhere.
Right.
But what I will say, you should ask your agent how long they've been in the business in regards to, you can take a look at that time. Let's say they've been in the business 5 years. Then they have probably they've been through the pandemic. And they have probably only been in a seller's market, right?
Right.
If they're at 7 or higher, they've seen both sides of this equation, just like you're talking about.
Right.
Because they know that sometimes we can go in, there's lots of ways to negotiate. It's not always price, it's package.
Right.
So we can package our offer the best way for the seller. Because the conversation I always have when I'll ask another agent, what would you like to see? If I'm representing a buyer, what would you like to see in this offer? I understand you want the best price we can give you. I understand you want to see a pre-approval letter. I know you want to close as fast as possible, or do you?
Right.
That's the other question. Do you need time to find your next house?
Right.
Do you need time, for example, do you need time to stay in this house after you sell it as a lease back because you need to find your next house?
Right.
Do you need help with the taxes? There's a lot of different ways there, and I'm going to have that conversation with the other realtor.
Right.
That's why you should ask your realtor how many other realtors do you actively know?
Right.
Not just how many people are in the MLS with you or in your office. How many realtors do you know, like that you can get on the phone with and have a conversation about a deal where it's not going to kill the deal, where everyone's not going to hit the door fighting?
And I love my friend Steve. He runs Peer Reputation, and I love that he has something to at least help consumers see if like your agent is well respected by other agents, or at least works well together, because that's important. And as a consumer, you don't even think about that, right? You just assume, like, if your agent's hated and not well respected, like, could that hurt you?
Like the question you should always, like I would say, when you're interviewing buyer's agents or seller's agents for that matter, one of the questions I would ask is, do you think your peers would hire you to come work with them? And it's amazing what people will say, because some people pride themselves on being an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? Really like the fact that they get in there and they fight, like they talk about it, like they fight for their clients. And it's like, there's a way to negotiate without having to fight with people.
Like a business professional.
I don't tend to, like, I'm working on a deal right now, and the agent called me and he said to me, he goes, and I know he's partially buttering me up. He's like, I'm sending you an offer. I know that we can get this done. We're both going to have to do some work on both sides because we're kind of far apart.
Right.
But I also know that you're not going to screw me. I know that you're going to do what's best and equitable, because my always joke is I don't ever talk about fair, because fair is where you judge pigs.
Right. Right.
By being equitable. And what's best for my client. And sometimes what's best for my client is what you consider fair. Sometimes what's best for my client is what my client considers fair.
Right.
Sometimes they don't meet. So, because it's a representative kind of business. It's not transactional, it's representative, because I want this client again.
Okay. And to wrap it up in like 2 minutes or less, what is the current Chicago market? So we're looking at beginning of fall. What's happening?
So I would say it's dependent on the neighborhood. So like I said earlier, 77 neighborhoods, snapshots, real fast snapshots. Okay. So downtown in the Gold Coast, the fancy parts, Michigan Avenue, the things that people hear about all the time. The market, the inventory is rising. The months of supply are up. So there's 8 months of supply in the Gold Coast right now. Okay. It's a great time to buy there. Problem is the average sale price is still in the sixes, the high sixes. So it's really,
that's like to start
the average price. So for everything that's for sale, we're looking at right now $649.
Wow. Okay.
You look at the West Loop where I live. Okay. Market time is like we're in the middle. We're in a neutral market. We're at 4.7 months of supply. Okay. And I don't know if people understand what months of supply means, so I'll give a really fast version. We literally stopped making new houses or putting new houses on the market. And simply, how long would it take to sell everything we have until we got to zero?
Got it.
That's the best way I got it. We're at 4.7 here. And so it's a neutral market. Right. Prices are down about 10%.
Oh, okay.
We're at about, and we're also seeing from list price to contract price at about 97%.
Ooh, okay.
So 3%. So whereas in February, that was at 104. We're at 97.
Okay.
And then I'll give you one more. Up in Lincoln Park, which actually I'll give you one south. In Beverly, which is in this far south part of the city, but mostly single family homes. Okay. We are still showing a lack of inventory. We're probably at like under 3%. We're under 3 months of supply. Sales prices are staying stable. They're at between 450 and 5 for a good size house. Okay. An average house. But you're also not finding anything, right? So but Beverly is one of those neighborhoods that's probably one of the most stable in Chicago, if not the country. No one bought, like, you sell a house. The reason you sell a house, Wendy, when you're standing there having coffee, say, my cousin Susie's selling her house on 105th Street. And you go, you call your realtor and go, I need to go see this house.
Right. What about Oakbrook? Do you do Oakbrook Terrace?
I do not, because it's in the I always joke that once we get out of the city, we get off the grid, because Chicago's a grid, and I get lost because there's curves. So
yeah. I got you. I used to help run the marketing. This is years ago, before he went off the rails, for Ditka's. So I used to do go downtown, and there was Oakbrook, and I think there was one more.
There's one. I want to say it's in Westmont, maybe.
Oh, okay, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's been years.
Yeah, I remember Dick. I mean, the pork chop. Gotta love the pork
Yeah.
chop.
Yeah. Actually, I think that so the other restaurant brand, it was all under one umbrella at the time before like the one owner got mad at the other owner and they had this old man pissing match and then they separated. I don't know.
Yep.
Typical stuff, right?
Right.
Um, oh my God. I just remember like the first time I ever met Mike Dicka, we were supposed to like go to other restaurants and ride in his car. And I got to like hop in the front seat and I went to sit down and he's like, wait. He had his like $1,000 cigars just like sitting on his chair. And I almost just like sat on them and just like crushed them with my butt. So that's like my only ever experience with him. And this was years ago. So,
Right.
but yeah, it was so nice out there.
Yeah, Oak Brook's a really nice suburb. It's a really, really nice suburb.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really good mall. There's lots of like the houses are really expensive.
Right.
I just not the I don't work out that far.
Anything else you think people should know either about this situation or what's your like podium moment that you always need to preach to people about?
So the podium moment I have is a really simple one. One, use a realtor. Like it's if you're selling, it saves you it helps you make more money because you're going to get more eyeballs on your property, and that person's going to negotiate for you to get you more money for your property. If you're a buyer, you should be using a realtor because you're going to see more things, regardless of what Redfin or Zillow tell you. You're going to they're going to be able to send you things that they can't see on Zillow or that haven't hit, for example, things that are on the private network because that exists.
Right.
We know it exists. We have to stop acting like it doesn't exist. And
it shouldn't exist. But
right.
that's a whole we can I think we could have a whole you saw my thing today about this new startup company. And I'm like, how many off-market websites do we need to have before it gets to a point where like buyers have to go to like 20 websites to just see what's available? You know what I mean? Like,
right. So like, I'm not going to shill for them, but I use this. There's a thing I use called Zenlist, right? And it's not in every market. And Zenlist is invite only. It gives access to all the private listings in your marketplace.
Okay.
But you have to, as a consumer, you have to get invited by a realtor to use it, right? So like, it's a secret sauce kind of thing. You can't, like, if you would know, unless I told you about it, you would not know it exists. It's one of those things that's kind of low key. It's very low key.
Right.
But it's an advantage that I use when I'm talking to buyers and sellers about why they should use me as a realtor, because you want speed, right? You want to be able to see the things when they come to market. I acknowledge that the private market probably should not exist for a variety of reasons, up to and including how the private market increases, basically gives you redlining and all those kinds of things about racism and blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
That being said, I have to work in the market that I'm in.
Right. I gotcha. I know. I know. It's kind of like, how do you make change? There's so many problems. So how do you work with the existing and still push for change? Like, it's just it's like this giant hot mess of an onion, and you're just like peeling back, at least on my end, like consistently trying to figure out, how do you fix this? How do you make it more fair? And how do you sustain it with what currently happens? Right.
Right. Like, I show people, like, I purposely go show people how, like, they'll say, I want to see, especially if they don't have a really finite place of where they want to go see. Right. I always show folks, show them neighborhoods that they've always thought weren't great. And I go, let's go look at this. And they're like, why? I go, because you might now find it great. You've only heard about it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But at least that you've seen it, as opposed to off of anecdotal evidence.
Someone posted something on Nextdoor that didn't sound nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I have a friend who has there's a neighborhood called Garfield Park that for years was awful, thanks to the riots in the 60s and this white flight and a variety of things that went bad. And now it's coming back. I have a friend of mine who's a realtor who has a development there so I talked about what the median prices are. You can buy a townhouse there, a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhouse for $278,000.
Ooh.
Which means your mortgage is probably in the twos, for $2,000 for a mortgage, but it's in Garfield Park. So people are like, oh my God, I can't live there. I'm like, go take a look, go in the daytime, go at night too, and then decide if you want to live there.
Right.
You might decide this is worth my time.
Right. It's like, I'm sure you have this conversation, like your parents' opinion of neighborhoods is very different than what it is now. Right. Like, I'm sure that comes up too. Hey, shouldn't you have on like a bow tie?
Do you want me to wear one?
No, that's okay. I just know it was your thing, right? Isn't that like your?
It is. Like, it's funny. Like when I am client facing, I at least the first time I meet you, I'm usually wearing a bow tie.
Okay. But after that, it comes off.
It depends on them. Like it's some people are, really casual, right? And so you don't
Mhm.
want you try to dress to your clients.
Right, right.
I try to dress to me the first time, regardless, because I don't know, and it's part of the brand. But if it's someone who like, it also depends on where we're going. Like Chicago's funny that way. Like if I'm going to nothing but high rises with doormen,
Hmm.
I tend to wear a suit. I tend to wear at least a sport coat and a bow tie. If I'm going places that are like kind of neighborhoody, I guess is the
Right.
best word for it, then I probably am wearing like a dress shirt and a pullover.
Got it.